Hello! Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're having a nice day. I hope everything's going well for you. And I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right into it. This is a pretty special video for me because as of the day I'm recording this, which is January 7th, 2020, my review show will officially turn 5 years old. This isn't like my 5th anniversary of being on YouTube in general, or at least on this channel, because this channel technically was created in 2011, November 2011, and I was making YouTube videos long before then. But significantly, this is 5 years since I started taking YouTube a little more seriously and decided that I was going to make some kind of career out of this. And it's something that I feel is worth celebrating, but I could never really figure out what exactly I should do to celebrate something like this. I didn't know if I should look back at all my old videos, reaction video style, and just cringe at them. Excuse me. Or if I should just do commentaries on all my old videos. Ultimately, I decided on nothing special, just a simple reflection. But instead of looking at just my old videos, I want to briefly go through my early beginnings on YouTube and then go through every single year of my review show, see how much I've changed, see how much I've evolved, see how much my style of video making has changed, and give you all a sense of where my mindset was during each individual period, and maybe give you some interesting tidbits on the makings of each video. And I also took to my social media, asking you all for questions to ask me about different things in the videos. I'm going to try not to jump around too much because there is a lot to talk about, but I will get to as many questions as possible, and I will try to be somewhat cohesive with this. And even if this video doesn't get as many views as some of my other videos, this is really meant more so for the people who've been subscribed to my channel either from the very beginning or people that have just subscribed recently and watch every single one of my videos and are genuinely interested in anything I have to say. So if you're one of those people, then this video is for you. Okay, let's see. Where do we start? I first discovered YouTube. I'm going back really far now. I first discovered YouTube in either 2007 or 2008. I was 10 or 11 years old at the time, and I distinctly remember the very first video that I ever saw on YouTube, or at least the earliest one that I can remember, was made by this user named Sonic Toast, who's still around, still doing stuff, and it was called Sonic and Mario Part 1, and in turn, Parts 2 and 3 were the second and third videos I ever saw on YouTube that I remember. It was this stop-motion thing about the origins of Sega's partnership with Nintendo, how they got out of the console race. But it was told using Mario and Sonic characters. So like Mario was the head of Nintendo and Sonic was kind of the underdog, trying to prove Mario wrong and things like that. And the stop motion wasn't very good, and definitely not up to Aardman or Leica standards, but it was done with these Mario and Sonic action figures. And at the time, I thought it was really, really interesting. When I first found it, I was like, where did this come from? Like, just the idea of there being a website where people can make their own videos and put them up online for the entire world to see. That was mind-blowing to me. I did later start making my own videos, but I just didn't immediately get the idea to do it. And as the question of what inspired me to get into doing game reviews, well, this is kind of embarrassing, but I remember very distinctly the very first game review channel that I ever came across, I ever watched, ever subscribed to, was The Irate Gamer. And this was before the Angry Video Game Nerd. This was before I even knew AVGN was a thing. When I discovered Irate Gamer, I thought that was really the only example of game reviews of any kind on the website. And it's even funnier in hindsight, because when I eventually started making YouTube videos, it was very, very basic. It was just like all the generic Windows Movie Maker stuff that people make when they get started. And one of them was an Irate Gamer tribute video. And this was back when YouTube had the actual rating system, like the 1 to 5 stars ratings. And I remember that video got like 2 or 2.5 stars, and I was 12 when I made it, and I was so confused as to why it got such a bad reception. And it didn't help that I used music from Camp Rock, the Disney Channel movie, to back it up. But now I understand why. And yeah, it's cringy. Just a disclaimer, I don't have any of my old videos, any of the videos I made during this time. I can't show them to you because they are long gone. I didn't delete them. I had them up on my old YouTube channels, but they got terminated like 9 years ago. Yeah, so all those videos are gone. I never backed them up. I might have one old video somewhere, but it was only like from 2012. I'll probably put it up at, somewhere in this video, so just look out for that. Yeah, I remember I was really impressed by Irate Gamer's videos. For the time, I thought the editing was incredible, because he had like special effects, and he used green screen, and he had animated characters, and I thought, wow, this is so cool, and he's so funny. Of course, this was before I knew that other better game reviewers were out there. So other YouTube channels I watched, there was Mega Man 765. He made Mario 64 Machinima videos. And then there was Rich Alvarez, who created the stupid Mario Brothers series. Later on, I would get more into game reviews, or just reviewing in general, when I finally discovered The Angry Video Game Nerd, and now the Irate Gamer criticism started to make sense. And then there was a Nostalgia Critic, and then when I got into high school, I started watching The Completionist, Cat Icarus, Peanut Butter Gamer, Pro Jared, Brutal Moose, most of the normal boots and hidden block guys. One major inspiration, and I'm sure you probably know who it is Some Call Me Johnny. I first started watching Johnny in 2010, and I remember the first video of his that I saw was the 19th anniversary Sonic interview. This was before Johnny Versus, and this was when he was still doing the SGB reviews. Discovering him and watching his content, I think that was my turning point. I think that's what ultimately got me into wanting to do my own reviews. Because Johnny was just some guy. He didn't have fancy special effects or anything like that. It was just him sitting in front of a camera, very much like what I'm doing right now, and just sharing his thoughts on games that he played. And that was ultimately where I realized, you know what, maybe I can do that too. But I didn't do it right away because I knew I didn't have the resources or the tools to pull it off. Because all I had was Windows Movie Maker, an old Rock Band USB microphone, and one of those like vertical camcorders. It was more like it was a potato camera. I don't think I have any of the videos I filmed with it. I made videos of different styles, like YouTube poops, FMVs, fake movie trailers, and some people probably know this, but I also had a series called Super Parody Brothers, and that was inspired by another Mario parody series that I watched called Super Mario Brothers, the Parody Series. Great name. It was made by Scotty Bird and Corn0720, and at the time when I first found out about it, when I started watching it, I thought it was like the funniest thing in the world. It's just two guys saying whatever they thought was funny into a microphone. They clearly didn't write scripts when they started, and they just put it to footage of the old Mario cartoons. And at the time, I thought it was hilarious. Of course, they got better over time, and I still find them pretty funny, especially the later ones, but I'm getting off topic. So Super Parody Brothers was basically my attempt at that, and it lasted for a while. It went on for about 23, well now 24 episodes, because the last one got split into 2. And you can still watch those. I still have those videos. They're up on an alternate channel. They're not really kid appropriate, so keep that in mind. I do say a lot of bad words and make a lot of dirty jokes in them, but I was a kid, so I didn't really know better at the time. I said I was going to try not to jump around a lot, but here I am jumping around a lot. Not physically, of course, because I'm just sitting in a chair. 2011. I'm just going to stick with this year for now. That was the year Super Parody Brothers started, when I was going from middle school to high school. And during that time, that's when Johnny Versus started on Some Call Me Johnny's channel. And that's when I really started getting more interested in doing my own reviews. I didn't do any review videos. Well, I did do some, but they were like off the cuff, just me sitting in front of my sister's webcam, because I would use her computer sometimes, and just talk about whatever games I was playing then. Again, I don't have any of these old videos, but I distinctly remember I talked about Donkey Kong Country Returns, Pro Wrestling on the NES, and Super Mario All-Stars. But there weren't really much But sometimes when I was in school or when I would be sitting at my Windows XP machine, yes, I was using Windows XP in 2011, sometimes I would write my own reviews based on games that I was playing. Some of them are more like reviews you would read in magazines or on news websites, but it ended up being really good practice for me because I sort of got a feel for how video reviews are structured. I had no intention of making videos out of any of these scripts, and again, I'm really bad with archiving this stuff, so I don't have any of my old scripts for you to look at. But I guess I treated them more as practice for when I eventually do decide to get into reviewing, which, of course, is what ultimately happened. There's a lot of stuff that I'm leaving out. Most of it's not really that important to the main topic that I want to get to. But getting into 2014 into 2015, this was pretty early on in the days of projects like the Eddsworld fan movie, and just as Super Party Brothers was wrapping up, 2015 was going to be the 30th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers, and I knew I wanted to do something to celebrate it, and I knew that I finally had the resources to really do reviews the way that some of my favorite YouTubers at the time were doing them, because instead of using Windows Movie Maker, I was now using Sony Vegas, which is the program I still use today. For whatever reason, I just decided I'm going to do a year-long Mario marathon where I just review all the mainline Super Mario games, and I thought that would be a good idea. It was a good idea in theory, but in execution, not all of them turned out the best, I think, but, it was fun. So the first review I did was Super Mario Brothers on the NES, which came out 5 years ago, to the day I'm recording this. When you're a YouTuber and you're just starting out, there's a period of time where you're trying a bunch of different things, and you're experimenting a lot, trying to establish some sort of identity for yourself. That was very much my experimental period, because I tried a lot of different things. Not all of them stuck, but some did. Like the idea of Cartoon Mark, that started out with the Mario Marathon. Actually, the reason why I started out with Cartoon Mark, I always wanted to film myself for the reviews right from the beginning. But again, I didn't have a good camera to film myself with, except for this little camera, which was more of just, it wasn't really like a camcorder. It was just meant to, it's one of those cameras that are meant to take pictures and not take video. I knew if I tried filming myself, it wasn't going to look very good. So what I did was I took a picture. I used that camera to take a picture of a corner in my bedroom, and because I was watching a lot of Gaijin Goomba at the time, and Trailer Drake was doing crossover for the Game Theorists, I thought, maybe I can do a little animated avatar and just have him represent me in the videos. I didn't know at the time that this was sort of a common thing with other reviewers. Like, I know SaberSpark does it, and there's some others that do it too. But I only did it because I saw Gaijin Goomba and Trailer Drake do it for their videos. Those were really time-consuming to do, but I ended up really liking how it turned out. Obviously, they didn't look very good in the beginning because it wasn't how I do it now, where I make all the static animations in Flash and I have different layers for different parts of the character. Like, I have a layer for the pupils, one for the eyes, one for the mouth, one for the freckles, because sometimes they'll go up when he squints his eyes, and, so on and so on. Everything was all on one thing, and it was always different every time, and it looked sloppy. But then I found a formula later on. Another interesting thing about the very early reviews, like up to Super Mario Brothers, Lost Levels, Mario 2, Mario 3 a little bit, I think, and New Super Mario Brothers 2, I wrote the scripts for them without even taking notes for the games that I was talking about. When you make a game review or a movie review, you have to write the script based on a set of notes that you take that are based on your experiences with it, and anything you want to talk about, you write them down and save them for later. I didn't do that with a lot of the old Mario videos because I put myself under a bit of a tight schedule at first, where I had to get the videos out at certain dates, and I would just rush my way through the scripts and just write whatever I thought would work and just work on the video right away. You can kind of see that in some of the videos, especially the best example is the Mario 2 USA video, where I say something like, the game's good, but it's a little hard to comprehend. Like, what was I talking about? But I guess I was thinking more about the setup or the circumstances that led to the adventure. I don't know. Like I said, I just wrote whatever I thought worked. A lot of those scripts were written based on my memories of the game, not my most recent experience with them. So that's one thing I kind of regret with the old videos, is that I didn't really give myself enough time to play the game and flesh out my thoughts in a script format. But just starting out and you're getting a feel for this new format, because I've been so used to doing Super Parody Brothers for so long that now going into this, it was something different. It was something I didn't normally do. Another thing that I really regret about the old videos is that, at least for the first two, I don't think I did it for the Mario 2 USA one, but I remember specifically for Lost Levels and the first Super Mario Brothers, when I would pronounce the Japanese names in an accent that I thought would be respectful, because this was when I started watching Gaming Historian, and Gaijin Goomba would do this too. He pronounced Japanese names with the correct Japanese pronunciation. And I tried doing that too for the first two videos I did, but it's I don't know what I was thinking. I never even pronounced them that way before I made them, so why did I think that would be okay? Those are the only moments that I really cringe at the most with those two videos in particular. Another thing about the Mario Marathon, the 2015 videos, is at the start, I didn't have any sort of means of recording my own footage. So with the first two videos, I think I used Some Call Me Johnny's footage from his Let's Play channel. Nowadays, I'm more conscious about how I use other people's footage, because in a review now, when I'm talking about a game, when I'm sharing my experiences with it, I try to show as much of my own footage as possible. But if it's for like generic B-roll or just to bring up a game as an example for, I don't know, comparisons or whatever, if it was something that wasn't based on my own experiences, then that would be okay. And I would put a little credit to the uploader of the original footage on screen. I also put them in the description, but I don't think a lot of people notice that. That's what I try to do now. But back then, I didn't have any means of getting my own footage until the Mario 2 USA video again, where I did record some footage, but it was more like just generic B-roll that I would need for some kind of interesting visuals. But I didn't really start recording the entire game myself until the Super Mario World video. I recorded the entire game myself, and I think that was also the first one where I really had to take notes for it. And the means of recording that game footage, which I used for the entirety of that year and up to my revisiting of Super Mario Maker, it was this little vidbox. It was this little device that was meant more to convert VHS tapes into digital files, because you would hook it up to a VCR and you would record the tape onto the computer, so you'd have a digital copy of it. But I used a lot of splitter cables to hook up game consoles to it and play it back on the TV. So that's how I would be able to record my own footage for videos. And that's why games like Super Mario Maker and Super Mario 3D World and Captain Toad Treasure Tracker look so bad, because they weren't recorded over HDMI, they were recorded over composite. 2015 was really interesting on the review side of things, because I was also graduating high school and we were moving to another new town, because my mom's a pastor and we get moved around a lot. And after high school, I took a year off before I finally decided to go to college. So I had a lot more time to work on the videos, which was a lot of fun. And I have a lot of really fond memories of working on some of those videos. Like the top 10 beach levels. That was the first video I made in the new house. And once I found a formula that worked for me, I started feeling a little bit more comfortable about what I was putting out. But by the end of it, by the time I got to Super Mario 3D World, I was kind of getting burnt out from working on these videos so much, and I was really tired, and I just wanted to be done and over with these videos. So I didn't even care. And that led to what I think is my worst video. Looking back, I really wish I gave myself more time to process my thoughts instead of just spewing them out into a microphone and making it into a video and just being almost completely negative throughout the whole thing. Also, that video really reflects a quality of myself that I'm glad I finally gotten over. It's the same problem I have with the top 10 games I don't like that everyone else does. I had this level of cynicism to me, specifically towards things that other people really, really liked, made a big deal out of. I would always be kind of hesitant to agree with them. And, everybody wants to be different. Everybody wants to be unique and have opinions that are different from everyone else's. So even if I had no experience with this popular thing, I would just say, nah, I don't like it. It started in high school and fizzled out a little bit, but it was still sort of there inside me. But it really came out once I started getting into YouTube videos. And that's another thing I really regret about the old stuff. Just how much of that cynicism and negativity I was letting out. Not all the time. If it was a game I really loved that everybody else did, then I would genuinely love it. But something like 3D World, and especially the top 10 games I don't like that everyone else does, that really shows. Even though I genuinely didn't like 3D World at the time, because that's a whole other thing. I don't want to get into that. I explained it a little bit better in my revisiting episode on that. But moving on, at the end of 2015, I finally got my own camcorder, an actual video camera that I can use to film myself. Because I was doing the Cartoon Mark segment still, I knew I wanted there to be some sort of transition between cartoon and real life me. So I thought it'd be really funny for the Captain Toad Treasure Tracker video, and to also explain the change of location, to have this character, Evil Santa, who was Donald Trump in a Santa Claus costume with a bottle of Pepsi, because he's supposed to be the anti-Santa. I thought it'd be funny if he got really mad at me for saying those things about 3D World, so he would turn me into a human and destroy my house and force me into his house and play Captain Toad. It was as basic of a plot as you can think of, but I really like that kind of stuff. I love explaining changes in my life with the most ridiculous explanations you can think of, like the changing of the game room in the Mario Kart video. But that goes into 2016. New game room, which is the one that was upstairs, and I didn't really give myself a set schedule to work with. I did have a list of games that I wanted to do, but I was a little bit more loose with when I put out the videos. The SSX Tricky video was the first one, and that one I feel like is one of my more experimental ones, because I'm really, really physical, and there's a lot of physical comedy, and that's one thing I kind of cringe at with the 2016 videos, probably more so than the 2015 ones, is that because I don't have Cartoon Mark to hide behind anymore, I'm putting myself in front of the camera, which was something I had experience with, but I wasn't really used to. I was really physical and extravagant, and I would try a bunch of different things, try and come off as energetic, and you could see it. It just didn't feel natural to me. Because I also have a background in community theater, I felt like I was putting on a performance for an audience, and that's how I thought I was supposed to treat it. But going back to Some Call Me Johnny, one of the things I loved about his videos was how it was just him sitting down in front of a camera talking about a game. Meanwhile, for me, very much like how I started doing the reviews in the first place, it was a different format for me, and I had to find something that worked for me. And I think what made switching to the on-camera stuff a little bit harder is the fact that I didn't have a script in front of me to read off of. I had to look at the lines, practice them over and over to get them in my head, and then present them. It's easy for me now because I've done it so much, but back then it was a little bit harder. While in community theater, you have more time to read through the lines and memorize them. My videos were more on the spot, and I had to get them out as quickly as possible. That's why there were a lot of jump cuts in some videos, because sometimes there were just too many words for me to remember. Actually, for some videos, like Ed, Edd and Eddy, The Misadventures, and the ending of Paper Mario Color Splash, I actually used a makeshift teleprompter. What I would do was I would hook up my laptop to the TV, because sometimes I would be sitting on the couch, and the camera would be here, and the TV would be behind it. I would sort of look over the camera and read the lines off of the TV. You could probably tell from looking at my eyes. You could tell I was obviously reading off of something. I thought it would work. Sometimes it did, but it didn't really feel right. Nowadays, I try to memorize as much of the script as possible and really just take my time to memorize them. Because I like not having something to read off of when I'm doing this on-camera stuff. It gives me a chance to be more natural and try some different things that I feel like would make it a little bit more real. That's the key word here, real. That's something I didn't really think about back then, because it was all about performance and energy and really just doing whatever it was I was doing. And going back to experimenting, that was another period of me just trying different things in terms of the comedy that usually nowadays I don't really look back on fondly, like the opening of the You-On Kazoo video. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea. I guess I thought just going for those kind of extremes would work or be funny, but it kind of makes me uncomfortable looking back on it. The smartest choice I made with that is I told you, the audience, to never let me do that again. Although I did do it once for the Super Mario Bros. Movie video, when I was playing the movie Professor Overanalyze. Yeah, with the mask, which was actually like a beanie just over my face. Alright, my means of recording game footage. Like I mentioned before, I had the little vid box with the composite ports on it. But starting with the revisiting of Super Mario Maker, I had a Hop Hog HD PVR 2. I'll probably put a picture of it up right here. I knew Some Call Me Johnny was using a Hop Hog at the time, so I thought this would be a good brand to go with, and it worked really well for me. What I liked about it was that it had both component ports and an HDMI port, so I could record footage off of component systems like the Wii or the PS2, and I could record through HDMI for the Wii U. And funny story about that is the first Hop Hog that I had stopped working after over a year of using it, and I remember it stopped working while I was recording footage for my first Nintendo Switch video. And this is going into 2017. But I'll talk a little bit about the Hop Hog first, and then I'll talk about the rest of the year. So, the Hop Hog, I guess, must have short-circuited after a while. For whatever reason, it just stopped working. So, Mike, my brother, invested in this little Roxio game capture device, which is more of a streaming device than a recording device. And I used it for the rest of the Switch video and my Super Mario Odyssey video. I didn't really like it much, because it only recorded at 30 frames per second, and also the recording software was really, really glitchy. Like, when I was recording footage for all those different games, for the first Switch video and the Odyssey video, I remember there were some times where it would just crash when I would stop recording, and the footage would come out okay, but the audio would be completely gone. It would just be visuals, and that was a little annoying. But then, later on, and I'll have to move my cord pop here to show you this. Oh, the wire's still in. After the Roxio situation, going into 2018, I'll get to 2017, I promise, I got this. It's the Hop Hog HD PVR 60. I went back to the Hop Hog brand, and this one records footage at 60 frames per second, which is nice, and I've been using it ever since, and I love this thing. Oh, that's Mike's phone again. Alright, that's enough of the game footage stuff. Let's go to 2017. So, going into 2017, because I was still directing the Eddsworld fan movie at the time, I decided that was going to be my primary focus for that year. So I didn't put out as much content on this channel as I did previous years. In fact, I only put out 4 main reviews, 5 if we included the second part of the top 10 favorite movies from 2016. At that time, I was just like, we've been working on this movie for 4 years now. We have to get this done. We have to work hard to finish it. So I pushed my review channel to the side and worked on the movie pretty much throughout the entire year, up to mid-2018. I wish I had put out more content on this channel that year, even if it was just like a weekend project. But on the other hand, I think my videos turned out pretty well for 2017. There were some questionable choices, like my haircut. I don't know why I thought it was okay to show my hair like that, because in the top 10 favorite 2016 movies in Mario 64 DS, it was really messy. And in the Switch video, it was too short. And then I made the bright choice of wearing a hat most of the time for the Mario Odyssey video. In fact, I'm going to talk about the review close for a second. From the beginning, I always drew my avatar with the black pea coat overcoat thing and the orange t-shirt underneath it. But I didn't get the idea to start wearing that for videos until my Paper Mario Color Splash video, because that's just what I happened to be wearing during those walking sections where I'm just walking around contemplating my existence. And I tried finding a distinct outfit during 2016, because I had that orange hat with the lightning bolt on it, which I'd had for years, but didn't get the idea to start wearing it for videos until then, because I thought it'd be pretty cool, help give me more of a unique identity. And I would experiment with different tops, like sometimes I had the orange hoodie with a white shirt, or the orange shirt with a black hoodie. But I thought, well, my avatar wears this outfit in all the thumbnails and all the artwork for my channel, why don't I just wear that for the videos? So the first review that I wore it for throughout the whole thing was my top 10 favorite movies from 2016. And that's what I stuck with, adding in different variations of it. I think with the Odyssey video, I had the red shirt instead of the orange one. And for the longest time, I had that pea coat. It was pretty heavy, and it was fine in colder weather. But when I would film videos in the summer, it would get really, really hot. So for the Switch video, I wore the regular suit jacket, which looked fine. The Bubsy Woolly Strike Back video, I switched it out with just a regular black shirt. And then with the Mario Kart video, I switched to just a light overcoat. And that's what I still use now. I liked wearing normal clothes for the videos because that's what made it comfortable for me. But my avatar wore this one outfit in my thumbnails and my artwork and everything. So that's why I decided to start wearing it for the videos. I don't know how many of you would have found that interesting, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Now let's go into 2018, and that's where I think things really started to pick up. Not just in terms of content, but also in terms of... I guess, oh wow, that was loud. In terms of me being creative or really just pushing myself with the videos as much as I could. 2018 was the year where I decided, you know what, maybe this movie is a little too much work for me to handle, because I was starting to get a little stressed out over it. I was worried that we weren't going to get it finished at a specific time, and I was really, really concerned about my well-being. I was worried I would stress myself out too much. I don't know, that I would have a heart attack or something. So I stepped down as director, and I decided to give myself more time to work on my main videos. And that's what I dedicated the rest of 2018 to. Significantly, that was the year where I introduced Summer of Mario, which is now going to be a yearly tradition. Summer of Mario was really cool, because after the Mario Marathon in 2015, I didn't really do that many Mario videos unless it was like a special occasion. Like I did Luigi's Mansion for Halloween with Audrey, and I did Paper Mario Color Splash for the Christmas video. I did Mario 64 DS as a birthday video, and then Super Mario Odyssey was my Christmas video for 2017. But I figured, you know what? Most of the people that subscribe to my channel are here mostly because of the Mario content, so I want to do something for them, but I don't want to wait for any particular occasions. So I figured, well, Peanut Butter Gamer has his Zelda month, and I think Cat Icarus was just starting his Crash Bandicoot month tradition then, so I figured, well, I could do the same thing with Mario, so that's how the idea of Summer of Mario came to be. I had a lot more ideas for that first one than what was eventually uploaded. I had maybe 12 videos or something planned, but I knew once I started working on the Mario Kart video, there was no way I was going to be able to make all those, so I cut it down to just 4. I did the Mario Kart retrospective, the Mario Cartoons video with Yoshi Player, the Mario on Ice video, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which that was something I always wanted to talk about, so I figured that would be a good time to finally get around to it. Fanta, please sponsor me. And there's a really interesting story about the Mario movie video. Some probably know because I've talked about it a little bit in maybe some live streams and on my Twitter. The Super Mario Bros. Movie video in its original form got a copyright claim on it for this 20 to 30 second clip near the end with the news reporter giving the, I call them the Super Mario Brothers, that thing. And so I went back to the original video and trimmed it down. I tried trimming it down so that maybe it would be more presentable. Well, actually, no, I didn't do that. First I filed a dispute because, it was fair use. It's a review. so it's transformative and it's critique. But the company that claimed the video rejected the dispute. So now I was worried that if I tried fighting back, they would put a strike on my channel or something. So I went back to the original video, and I trimmed that part down to hopefully get past it. I put it up, they claimed it again, and then I went back to the video a second time. If you see in the re-upload, I put little Kappa faces everywhere. I put a Kappa face on the news reporter, and when I re-uploaded that version, it didn't get a claim on that part, but now it got a claim on a different part of the video, which I think was the part where they're in the cages and Toad's talking about the different dimensions. So I put Kappa faces on that part. It got passed, but then another part of the video got claimed. I put Kappa faces on that. It got claimed. So this must be my 4th or 5th time. And at this point, I really did not want to have to go back and add more stuff to it because I figured this was just going to keep happening. So out of curiosity, I filed another dispute, thinking they were probably going to reject it again, but they actually released their claim. So all it took was putting Kappa faces on everything and filing a second dispute, and now I can make money off of it. So that's great. God, I'm so glad I don't have to deal with that anymore. I was so tired of just constantly putting Kappa faces on it. I just wanted to get the video out, done and over with. But then, let's see, 2018 finished with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Knuckles. That was my Christmas special for 2018. And that was the second time where I got to do a video with Audrey. I'd gotten some questions about who she was or what our relationship is like. So Audrey and I met in 2014. We were doing a show together, which was called Back to the 80s, and it was like this jukebox musical. This is a community theater thing, by the way. It was a jukebox musical mostly consisting of 80s songs. It was at a theater that I normally do shows at, but it was her first show there, and when I went into audition, she was the only other person in the lobby. So we started chatting, and she showed me this video of Straight No Chaser doing the 12 Days of Christmas, their version, which is one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. You should watch it if you haven't, even though it's not Christmas anymore. And later I found out that she was into a lot of the same nerdy stuff that I was into. Like, she loved Yu-Gi-Oh! Where is it? Right here. She loved Yu-Gi-Oh! And she loves Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. She loves that game, so I knew we were going to be best friends for life. The story of how she got into Luigi's Mansion video, which was the first one she did with me, we had set up this date where she would come over to visit because we hadn't seen each other in a while at that point. And I decided, you know what? If she's coming over, we should do something fun. Let's do a video together. And I just happened to be working on my Luigi's Mansion video at this point, so I thought it'd be fun to get her in there. And she's amazing. She's incredible because I would give her the lines, and while it usually takes me a while to memorize them, she could just look at a piece of paper and just do it right away. She's just that good. And she's also really, really, really funny. She would deliver the lines in a way that would be better than what I would expect, which as a director, that's something you look for in actors. Working with her on that was so much fun that the same thing kind of happened with the Smash Bros. Ultimate and Knuckles video, where she just happened to be coming over, because again, we hadn't seen each other in a while. I was working on the Christmas special. I thought it'd be fun to have her come in. Not much beyond that. We've been friends for a long time. She's really fun to work with, so that's how she got in there. Now Audrey's off doing other things, mostly in the city, and I wasn't sure how long it would be until we would eventually get to do another one together. So the Smash Bros. Ultimate and Knuckles video ends with her kind of leaving, but it's like, it's not a thing where she would be leaving forever. It was like one of those things where she is leaving, but it leaves the door open for her to come back. So there is a chance that she will show up in another video of mine. I just don't know which one it'll be yet, or if she will. I hope so. I really want to work with her again, but it's hard to say. We'll find out. All right, so going into 2019, I would say 2019 was the best year for my channel. For me personally, there were a lot of really positive moments, and I had welcomed so many great people into my life now that I felt much happier and much more inspired than I ever have been. I really, really enjoyed working on every single video that I put out last year. For one thing, new computer. Well, it's not new anymore, it's about a year old, but I started off the new year by getting this computer. When I started doing the reviews, it was my mom's old Windows 7 laptop, and then after graduating high school, I got my own desktop as a gift, a graduation gift. It was a Dell Inspiron, which clearly was not capable of handling all the stuff that I was putting onto it and all the work I was doing. I'm surprised it lasted for as long as it did. In fact, the last video I ever made for it, I believe, was my I can't say quick smash anymore because I don't use that title. Quick review of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think that was the last video I made on it. My first main review that I edited with the obelisk here was, I think, the SNES Classic. That was definitely one of my favorite videos to work on. I have a lot of fond memories of making it because I got to play through a bunch of different games. A lot of great games, too. Some I hadn't played in a while, some I hadn't played ever, and some that I didn't like at first but really grew to enjoy. Like Earthbound, I still haven't fully beaten it yet, but I did really enjoy that section that I went through. And Link to the Past was the most surprising to me, because I remember I used to not really like that game a whole lot, but I found it so much fun when I was recording footage of it for the video. And man, I really want to go back to it, because I can't even emphasize how much fun I had with it. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Retrospective was another favorite of mine. I have a tradition on my channel where I do some kind of special video on my birthday, March 20th, on something that's related to my childhood. In 2015, it was Yoshi's Island. 2016 was Ed, Ed, and Eddie. 2017 was Mario 64 DS. 2018 was Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. And so, for 2019, it was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Retrospective, which I think is probably the most personal video I've done, because Yu-Gi-Oh! Was such a huge part of my childhood, and it's just been such a big part of me, clearly, ever since. I knew I wanted to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! At some point on this channel, but I figured then, that was the perfect time to do it. Easily my favorite part about working on the video was the opening skit, where I'm dueling against Comfort Penguin. I have the whole Yu-Gi-Oh! Getup and everything, and I use the music and the sound effects, and the lip movement doesn't match the dialogue. That was just me trying to pay tribute to Yu-Gi-Oh! By doing a little parody. And that was a lot of fun to work on. I remember I was laughing while I was editing it. And side note, that wig that I had, that sort of Jaden-like wig, I'd had that for years. And I got that when I was like 15 or something. At that time, I thought I would be able to make some kind of Jaden cosplay. But that didn't end up working out. I gained all this weight too. So I don't think a Jaden cosplay is going to happen for a while. But I held on to that wig because I knew I wanted to do something with it. And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Video just happened to give me the perfect opportunity. Another favorite of mine from 2019 was the weird early 2000s commercials. That idea came from me one night having a nostalgia binge with my friend Pip, who drew a lot of my artwork and is also directing the Edgeworld fan movie now. We were watching a bunch of commercials together, and a lot of them I hadn't seen in years, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun to actually talk about them in a video. And I knew that the Nostalgia Critic has done a lot of commercials videos of his own, so I thought I could do something like that, but from my own perspective and in my own sort of review style. And the Nostalgia-ria joke, by the way, that also came from Pip. He coined that term, he owns it, I just happened to license it off of him for that one particular joke. And I really, really want to make another commercials video. I don't know if I should stick with the 2000s or if I should branch out to other time periods like the 80s or the 90s, but however I decide to do it, I just really want to do another commercials video. Summer of Mario was another continuing thing, so this time I knew I wanted to get the videos out quicker and within the summer schedule. And I had bigger plans too, because this was when I was finally going to talk about Paper Mario, the first game plus Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario, because I wanted to talk about those games for so long, and I felt like I had enough time to actually do videos on them, and I did. Those are some of my favorite videos from this year. I think I don't have one set favorite from 2019, but if I really had to pick my favorite video from 2019, it had to be the remakes of Mario games with Nintendo Drew. That was easily the most surreal experience I had working on a video, because I had been a fan of Drew's for about 2 years, I think. I met him at Too Many Games in 2018. That was my first time meeting him in person, and we exchanged Twitters. He followed me, I followed him. The remakes of Mario games was an idea that I had planned for the first summer of Mario, but again, when I had to cut down the videos to 4, that's one that I ended up scrapping. I did start writing a script for it, but I ended up not doing anything else with it after I had to cut it. Then when the opportunity came to do something with Drew, I remember that I had this old script that I had started, and I asked him, hey, I have this video plan where I talk about a bunch of Mario remakes. Do you want to do that as a collab? And he was like, sure. That was really cool. Just getting to work with one of my favorite YouTubers on anything. And man, just editing footage of Drew in front of the camera and putting game footage on top of his background and using his font for the text. It was a really surreal experience. I felt like I was editing a video for his channel, but then it would cut back to footage of me and I was like, oh wait, this is one of my videos. But the fact that a YouTuber that I admire very, very deeply, it was really, really rewarding to see how much he enjoyed it and how much he actually liked working on it. And I'm still so honored and humbled to have had Drew be a part of it. I hope I get to do more stuff with him again in the future. And I can easily say 2019 was definitely the best year for me, both personally, creatively, and for this channel. So here's hoping 2020 is even better than before. There might have been some stuff that I missed I wanted to talk about, but I didn't. Sorry if I'm playing with my strings so much. Before I end this video, now is going to be the time where I answer questions from you guys about the channel or myself, and I'm mostly going to... Oh wow, the lighting changed a lot from switching windows. So anyway, I'm going to focus more on questions about the channel and the reviews and things like that. Not so much on questions like, what do you think of this game? Were you excited for that one? So if I don't get to your questions, then sorry, that's just it's just the way I'm doing it. All right, let's start with YouTube questions. Christian Solomon asks, will Cartoon Mark ever return? Well, he has returned. He has popped up again in different places. He took over what used to be Quick Smash is now just a quick reviews. He took over that, so I use him for those. And he also appeared in the Super Mario Odyssey video and the Mario Maker 2 video. So he has popped up from time to time. I don't know if he'll be back permanently, like to do the main reviews, but he's still doing the quick reviews. He's still going to do the main Mario games whenever they come out. So yes, he will return. The Voice Gameplay asks, what happened to the top 10 games I don't like what everyone else does? It was from 2015 or something and it's missing now. If it was deleted, then it's a shame, since I really liked that video in its day. Not sure if I would still like nowadays. That goes back to what I was saying before about how much I let out sort of my more cynical side with certain videos, and that was one of them. That's just a video I'm not really proud of. I think I've made that clear before. So I ended up deleting it. I do have it archived, so if enough people are interested, then I could re-upload it with a disclaimer saying, like, I don't agree with these opinions anymore. This is not the kind of person that I am now. This was just me from a different mindset, so don't take it too seriously. Maybe I'll do that. A Guardian Type says, what other franchise-specific marathons would you want to do next after Mario? Well, I did do a little Crash Marathon a couple years ago. I'd like to do another Crash Marathon just to look at the other games. I actually have a lot of ideas for marathons I'd like to do. Kirby is one. Uncharted. I'd like to do the Uncharted games at some point. Sonic is one that I've gotten questions about. I don't know if I'll do a marathon. Maybe just one-off videos. I do want to do a Sonic-related video for when the movie comes out next month. I won't say what it is, but I'll try. I want to try and get to that. Octavian Knox 888. What is your favorite and least favorite season of your review show? I think I might have made that a little clear. My least favorite's probably 2015. Absolute favorite, easily 2018 going into 2019. Yun1 asks, in the Mario Educational Games video, well, who was that girl in the glasses? That was my girlfriend, Ronnie. She was coming over for a visit, and I just thought it'd be fun to put her in the video. So that's that. Jake, one of my Patreon supporters. He says, well, I already answered that part. Kind of. I'm going to make an exception to this one because I said I was going to focus on questions about the channel, but, Jake, you're one of my top tier patrons, so I'm going to take this one. Now that we have a truly amazing 3D Mario game like Odyssey, Do you feel 3D World has become even less enjoyable? Also, I would love to know which YouTubers inspired you and how their respective styles influenced your direction on the site. Congrats again on 5 years, bud. Looking forward to your next videos. Thanks, Jake. And thanks for your support. I really appreciate it. To answer your first question, I would say, yeah, 3D World is a little less enjoyable. When 3D World was first announced, I was like 16, and I loved Galaxy so much, so I was expecting another Galaxy-style game on the Wii U, which was a home console. 3D Land I liked, but it was like a handheld thing, so that was fine. 3D World is a good game. It's just at the time it wasn't the Mario game that I really wanted. And I think Odyssey just makes me enjoy it less, just knowing what we could have gotten after 3D Land. Again, it's still good. I went into a little bit about YouTubers that inspired me, but Some Call Me Johnny was the big one. ABGN, Nostalgia Critic, Cat Icarus, you could probably tell from all the visual gags that I use. A little bit of Completionist, a little bit of Brutal Moose, a little bit of Peanut Butter Gamer, and I'm trying to think of anyone else. I don't know, I think that's it. I think those are the big ones. How their respective styles influenced my direction. Well, like I said with Some Call Me Johnny before, he was just a guy talking about games in front of a camera, and I like that sort of natural, real aspects of that, instead of just hiding behind a character, not hiding behind a character, portraying a character like what James Rolfe does with the nerd. Johnny specifically really was probably the biggest influence on me. Firework Pictures, would you ever consider doing a console-specific series of reviews? Like a series of SNES covering games like Mario World, Super Metroid, Super Castlevania 4? That's actually not a bad idea. I might have to try that. Okay, those are YouTube questions. Let's go to Twitter. This is from Ty, at DaxTheFox1. In your Mario Galaxy 2 video, you said you were diagnosed with depression. Besides playing the game, did you ever seek the right help and therapy you needed? Also tell your family I said hi. Oh, I will. That's a really personal question, but I'm flattered that you care. Yes, I did go to therapy. I had this really, really great therapist, Dr. Wilson, who really knew how to treat me. I think I might have said this in a live stream before, but I have autism, and I have a very specific way of dealing with my feelings. And one of the ways that Dr. Wilson would help me deal with them and help me realize what exactly I needed was by playing games with me. So we would play Connect 4 or Go Fish, or just any games that would help soothe me or help me relax. He really understood me mentally, and I got antidepressants. I think he really helped me look at the world from a healthier perspective. So yeah, I would definitely say I got the help I needed. Thank you for that question. I'm very flattered that you care about my well-being. Poir the Cat at PoirC asks, what Mario game was the hardest to review? Ooh. Wow. Ooh, I don't know. I think... Well, the hardest ones to review are always the ones that you're not familiar with, like the new ones, because you're just getting into them for the first time and you don't have any prior experience with them. But I think the hardest one was probably Color Splash, because, for one thing, I really did not enjoy playing that game. I found it to be such a drag, with some good moments here and there, though. And another thing was, that was actually a game where I forgot to take notes for it. I recorded all my footage, but I forgot to take notes for it. So not only did it make writing the script hard, because I had to write it mostly from memory, but it also made editing the footage hard, because I didn't have anything to remind me which particular parts happened at which particular moments. So I think I would say Color Splash was the hardest. Retro Mini-Me, let's see what he says. When you started the Mario Marathon, did you know what game to review once it would be done? Yes, I did. Oh, excuse me. Because with the Mario Marathon, I had a list of games that I was going... Oh, excuse me again. A list of games that I was going to cover. So once I was done with one game, I would start working on the video for the next game. It's usually like that. Sometimes I like to give myself a schedule or a list of games to work with. Lately, I've found that inspiration just sort of comes to me. I have a list of ideas, but nothing's really set in stone until I find something I think would be really good to work with. But for the Mario Marathon, yes, I did. Me, Ma, Phyllis, I already kind of answered this one, but I'll just address it again. Why did you make a year-long Mario review series the start of your review show? Like, why not just a one-off review instead? I started with the Mario Marathon because I wanted to do something to celebrate Super Mario's 30th anniversary, and that's pretty plain and simple. Orville Johnson, at AlmightyDF. Did you ever think about doing an entire review animated? That would probably take a little while. If you mean animated like full lip sync and movement, the idea never really occurred to me, but I don't know. I probably could do that. Alright, let's see next. Brandon Croker, Hutto Hippos 1449. That commercials video, how'd you pick and choose the commercials you wanted to talk about? Most of them were commercials that I thought would be the most interesting or the funniest to talk about. But I also took some suggestions from you all. A lot of you submitted commercials for me to look at, and I think some of them ended up in the video. I think the Kirby commercial was one, and maybe the Jack in the Box one too. I don't remember if the 4Kids National Anthem was an idea of mine or a suggestion from somebody else, but yeah, that's how I picked them. Hunter the Puzzled, at the Puzzled Boy. Have you ever considered going full awesome and make your own movie using your characters and lore and all that? You know, I've poked fun at the idea a little bit, but I'm not really sure if that many people would be interested in it. And honestly, I think I would prefer to spend my time working on other things. I will say I have poked at the idea a little bit. Just a little bit. I doubt it'll ever happen, but yeah, it probably won't. But glad to see glad to see that someone's interested. I'm so flustered I can't talk. All right, now we're going to move on to Discord questions. There aren't a whole lot. Well, there are a lot from this one person, but we'll get there. Let's see. Mario Kart 3456 asks, what is your favorite video you've made? On the review side, my favorite review is easily the Super Mario Odyssey video, just because I feel like that one, to me, feels like very much like how the game is a celebration of Mario's history. I felt like that video was kind of a little celebration of my own channel's history, because it has a lot of characters in it that have popped up in videos over the years, like Comfort Penguin and Professor Overanalyze and the Nabbit, and Cartoon Mark showing up, something that people have been wanting to see for a long time, very much like how Odyssey was something that Mario fans like me wanted to see for a long time. Plus, that game was just such a breath of fresh air for me as a Mario fan, because I've been wanting something like that to come for so long, and the fact that it actually happened, it was something I knew I really needed, and the game just did not disappoint. The fan service, that might have played a huge part in it too, but yeah, I think that one's my favorite. Okay, this is from Who's. Why did you start reviews with Haldo? I'm genuinely curious about that. Also, any reviews you started that we never got to see. I remembered Haldo was just something that I thought sounded funny, but I think I got it from Homestar Runner. There's a fake movie trailer for Peasant's Quest, and there's a bit with these archers. I think they're archers, I don't remember exactly. They say Haldo when they greet the main character. Haldo! I think I might have taken it from that. I want to say yes, because I am a big Homestar Runner fan. So, yeah, I'll say that. And as for the second part, I'm trying to think. The only one I can think of is Sonic Lost World, because I remember that was going to be a full review originally, but when I played the game, it didn't really give me a lot of material to work with, so I just made it into a Quick Smash instead. I keep using Quick Smash as a phrase, but it's not called Quick Smash anymore. They're just quick reviews, but there you go. I'm trying to think of any others. Reviews I started but never put out. No, I think Sonic Lost World is the only one. All right, Dizzy Miss Lizzie. Hey, Lizzie. She's got a lot of questions here. Got a few, so bear with me. What do you use to make videos? I use Sony Vegas Pro. I started on Vegas Pro 9 when my friend Trace originally got it for me in 2012, and then a year later I upgraded to Vegas Pro 10, and I've been using that for a long time, but now I'm currently using Vegas Pro 14. I think they're on 17 now. I'll upgrade eventually, but that's what I use. Do you plan to update that, and if so, how? I'll probably upgrade to Vegas Pro, whatever the newest version of Vegas Pro is, but it's really expensive, so I don't know. How did you come up with the concept of the characters featured in your channel? Well, Professor Overanalyze was sort of it was meant to be a one-off kind of thing, because there's the joke where, I forget what exactly the joke is. Oh, right, I question how old Princess Peach is, and then Professor Overanalyze comes in and just analyzes every needless little detail about Peach, like her jewelry and her hair and her skin and everything, and just comes to the most obvious conclusion. That was the whole joke with him. Just he analyzes every single nook and cranny of whatever it is that he's analyzing, and he comes to a conclusion that you could come up with in like a nanosecond. It's like, well, looking at the cracks in the window or the cobwebs hanging from the ceiling, it should come to us as no surprise that this house is very, very old. That was the whole joke with him. That's one thing about all the characters on the review show. None of them are meant to be staple characters, but they just ended up becoming staples because people like them so much. And that was the same with the Nabbit. That was just a little thing that I did in the new Super Mario Bros. U video. Dagnabbit! And then it just became a little running joke that he would pop up and annoy me. But then the Nabbit just became a regular character that just pops up from time to time. And Comfort Penguin, that came from the Crash Bandicoot video, the first one. I was getting really frustrated with the game. I needed to hug something to calm my nerves, so I had this big plush life-size penguin. I don't remember where we got it from, but I just thought, whatever it is I have to hug, it has to be the most random thing you can think of. So I just took the penguin and I hugged it, and I called him Comfort Penguin. And Evil Santa, I think I explained this before, and Mrs. Evil Santa and Evil Santa Jr., they were created as a way of explaining why the game room location was changing from upstairs to downstairs. And the story I came up with was Mrs. Evil Santa was tired of being the first lady and decided to move into what was my game room and turn it into Evil Santa Jr.'s playroom. And then she moved everything down here. And Microsoft, my Xbox fanboy alter ego, on Drew's channel, he produces mostly Nintendo-focused content. But he also has a PlayStation fanboy alter ego named PlayStation, and so Microsoft was created as a counterbalance to that. So that's where Microsoft came from, but I want to do more stuff with him because I think he'd be really fun. Even though you draw your own assets and animate your own stuff, would you ever get someone to draw something for you, and if so, who? Well, I did have Pip draw my channel avatar, and he did one of my old t-shirt designs, but I would like to get somebody to draw something for me. I don't know who specifically. I think it depends on the style that I'm looking for. Ever consider redoing your original reviews completionist New Game Plus style? Yes, I have. In fact, this might be a pretty good year to do it because it is the 5-year anniversary. So let's do it. Let's see. How would you feel about a reanimated of one of your reviews? If somebody was willing to animate it, I'd love to see it. Okay, well, I think that's all the questions from everybody, unless somebody asks me one more while I'm filming this. All right, I'm trying to think of a good way to end this. I do have a little thing written up, because this was originally supposed to be scripted, but then I realized that would take way too long, and I have a very specific way of scripting things. And wow, that's really bright. I'm moving you over here. So, yeah, that's 5 years of doing reviews and taking YouTube somewhat seriously. There's a lot of other stuff that I skipped out on or brushed over, but maybe another time will come to really go into further detail on those things. I just wanted to focus more on the videos that got me to this point right now where I am. Looking back on all the stuff that I've done over the years, it's really interesting to see what stayed the same and what changed over time. A part of me feels like most of what I do is just a desperate attempt at garnering attention, but looking at the experiences that I probably will have in the future, now I find myself in a pretty interesting place where people actually look up to me in the same way I looked up to people like Johnny or Ed from Ed's World. I'm in a place where people will come up to me at conventions and tell me how much I've inspired them or how much my videos mean to them. At Too Many Games last year, I met this kid named Ben, I think he was 8 years old, and he said I inspired him to get into retro game collecting. And that was really touching, because it just brought me back to how I would watch old AVGN episodes for the first time, or Irate Gamer episodes, and just think, wow, look at all those old games. I'd love to try those out. I wish I had all those systems. And now I almost do. I have a lot of old stuff here. But being looked up to as some kind of role model, it really changed the way that I look at not only fame, but also how you present yourself online. Because I did a lot of stupid things in the past, and I've made a lot of mistakes that some people have tried to use as weaponry to cancel me or something. There are going to be haters, and there are going to be people who just want to bring you down from the pedestal that so many others might have put you up on. I'd like to think I'm not a bad person. I don't try to be a bad person. I'm just some schmuck making videos online, hoping that somebody will watch them and be entertained, be happy. I'm just here to bring smiles to the faces of people that really need them the most. And I don't want to be anything more than just a schmuck who sits here and makes videos all day. With how people like Mr. Rogers have left such a positive influence on me, that's really opened my eyes to the kind of influence that I really want to have on people that watch my content. There are a lot of people on this platform who review movies and video games from a very cynical viewpoint, and it's usually played for laughs, like maybe the person's portraying a character, and some do this really well, like the Angry Video Game Nerd, for example. He's always angry, but he makes it entertaining, and he makes it clear that he's just playing a character. But others come off as a little too closed-minded or self-important or just plain ignorant for me to take them really seriously. These are some of my least favorite qualities from anybody, and even I felt I was guilty of displaying some of these in my early videos. What I really want to accomplish from doing these videos, most importantly, is for people to see the real me, see myself. But when I started, I didn't really have a clear grasp of what that was or how I wanted to do things. And now, after all these years, I finally understand who I am and what exactly I want to accomplish. I don't ever want there to be any sort of separation between us because of ego or this sense of superiority or something. I just want this channel and this platform to be a safe place where I can put out a video and just give you something to smile at if you really need to. And I just want to make sure that everything that you're getting from me is real, honest, and sincere. And if I make any more mistakes, I just want to be able to learn from them and continue to grow as a person. So take it from me, if you're going to get into something like this, there's going to be a lot of trial and error, and you might have a lot of moments where you question yourself and you don't always know if this is the right thing to do or if this is the right direction you want your life to go in. But if you surround yourself with the right people and you come to grips with the mistakes that you might have made along the way, then you'll find yourself living a much healthier and brighter lifestyle. I have been very, very fortunate to be able to make some kind of income off of this, but what's most important to me is that I've been able to make a difference in people's lives. Ever since I was a kid, I knew I always wanted to try and make the world a better place. And reading all your messages and comments about how much my work means to you, especially coming from somebody who doesn't always have the highest degree of self-confidence, you guys have made this the most interesting 5 years of my life, but also some of the best 5 years of my life. I honestly cannot thank you all enough just for how much of a difference you've made in my life, as hopefully I've made a difference in yours. I really don't want to take this for granted. I don't want to feel like I'm superior to anybody, because that's not the kind of person I am. But after all the trials and tribulations, and after everything I've been through, after all the mistakes I've made, after all the friends that have come and gone, and after all the times where I felt like a failure and I felt like nothing I did was ever good enough, in the end, you all, as you always do, make it so worth it. And I've got a lot of ideas for 2020. I've got some new series for videos that I'd like to do. New reviews are going to be on the way. My next one is a Patreon request, and I've got some other little videos in there. I got a lot on my plate for this year. Hopefully you'll all stick around for it, and hopefully I can keep making you smile, making you happy, and hopefully we can make this an even better year than any of the ones that came before. I've been recording for too long. I gotta finish this now. Thanks to all of you again for making 2019 so much fun, and the last 5 years so much fun. Everybody who's stuck with me since day one, thank you. Oh, sorry, microphone. Thank you so much. Anybody who's just watching me for the first time, thank you for tuning in. And as always, if you'd like to support me and tune in to some exclusive content that you won't find here or in the public eye, or if you want some other cool rewards, then you can support me on Patreon. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, you can click the join button to become a sponsor. Due to the recent changes to YouTube's policies, thanks to COPPA, this video will not have comments enabled if it's set to be made for kids. So just this one time, I am going to not have it be set for kids because I really want to see what you all have to say. And it would also help if you have any other questions that you'd like to know the answers to about the channel, the reviews, or anything else that I've done over these past 5 years. And I'll probably put up another video talking about my full history on YouTube at some point in the future. Once again, I love you all to death, especially you, and even you in the back sitting quietly with his arms crossed for some reason. Hello. But anyway, with that said, this is Mark wishing you all a happy new year and bidding you all a smashing farewell.